I slammed straight into his chest, hard enough to knock my phone out of my hand and my breath out of my lungs. That was the first moment I met Logan Pierce, the billionaire everyone whispered about in New York City, the man who carried an air of danger as naturally as breathing. I stumbled back, fumbling for my phone, cheeks burning with embarrassment, but his steady hands caught me before I hit the sidewalk. "You okay?" His voice was calm, deep, impossible to ignore. There was a softness under the surface, but the storm in his gray eyes told a completely different story. "I am fine," I stammered, still flustered. "You shouldn't be walking without paying attention," he said smoothly. "This city isn't kind to distracted people." I muttered something about him not watching either, and he tilted his head, lips twitching like a barely contained smile. "I'm Logan," he said, finally offering his name like it was a gift. I froze. Logan Pierce. Billionaire. The man who owned more than some countries could dream of. People feared him, whispered his name like it carried curses. And now, I had collided with him. Before I could react, a black Maybach rolled up, its engine humming like quiet thunder. The door opened, and a driver extended his hand. Logan didn't need to say goodbye. The world seemed to pause around him as he slipped into the car. I stood there, heart hammering, realizing my life had shifted in the blink of an eye. 2 weeks later, I was working late at the cafe, barely awake, sipping lukewarm coffee, when the door chimed. And there he was, Logan Pierce, standing at the counter, perfectly poised, radiating quiet power. "You," he said simply. "You, me?" I asked, heart racing. "The girl who nearly knocked me out on Fifth Avenue." I tried to deny it, but he didn't wait for my argument. He ordered black coffee and placed a crisp $100 bill on the counter. "Keep the change," he said casually. My manager nearly fainted when she whispered, "Do you know who that is?" Logan Pierce. Billionaire. Untouchable. Dangerous. Everyone warned me to stay away. And yet, I couldn't. Over the next few days, he returned to the cafe repeatedly. Not for coffee. Not for small talk. Just to watch me. I started noticing him noticing me, the way my hands trembled when I was anxious, the way I tucked my hair behind my ear when I was nervous, the exhaustion etched into my eyes. One rainy night, he showed up and didn't say a word. He simply opened the passenger door of his car. "Get in," he said. I hesitated. My gut screamed no, but the rain pouring down felt like it was trying to wash me away. I obeyed. Inside, leather seats, warmth, and quiet enveloped me. He didn't touch me, didn't speak, just drove. Until he finally said, "You should be careful who you trust." "Why?" I asked, teasing lightly, though my pulse betrayed my fear. "Are you dangerous?" His eyes darkened. "Everyone says I am, but not with you." And then, something inside me shifted. That night marked the beginning of a pull I couldn't resist, a magnetism I couldn't explain. Logan began opening doors I didn't know existed, both literal and metaphorical. Rooftop gardens hidden from the city, restaurants that required secret passwords, and conversations that delved into fears I never voiced. Yet, the world was relentless. Scandals. Enemies. Past lovers leaking secrets. "You deserve someone simple," he told me one evening, voice heavy with emotion. "Not someone with my complications." I looked into those stormy gray eyes and said the one thing I couldn't hold back. "I don't want simple. I want you." That was the night Logan Pierce, the man everyone feared, kissed me. A kiss that was soft yet desperate, powerful yet fragile. A kiss that left no room for denial. And my life irrevocably changed. The next morning, I woke with Logan's presence still lingering like a shadow I couldn't shake. My phone buzzed incessantly, messages from my friends, my manager, and even strangers asking if I'd seen the news. Apparently, Logan Pierce had been spotted entering my cafe again, and of course, New York loved gossip more than it loved the truth. I groaned. My quiet life was gone, replaced by headlines I didn't want. "Cafe girl caught with billionaire? Is Logan Pierce falling for the unknown?" I tried to laugh it off, but it didn't help that my heart still raced when I thought of him. And I was about to see him again. That evening, Logan appeared at my apartment door, dressed sharply, wet hair plastered to his forehead from the rain. His gray eyes held an intensity one couldn't ignore. "You came again," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "I told you. Rainy nights are dangerous," he replied softly. "And sometimes I don't like watching you suffer from afar." I wanted to say something clever, but instead I found myself stepping aside as he entered, shedding his coat, and taking a seat on my small couch like he belonged there. Which, of course, he didn't. Not really. "Why me?" I finally asked, unable to stop the question from leaving my lips. "Why care about someone like me?" He looked at me, then truly looked, and I felt exposed under the weight of his gaze. "Because," he said slowly, choosing his words, "you're the only one who doesn't see me as a monster. Everyone else fears me. You see me." I froze. "Logan," I whispered. "You make me feel human," he admitted. "And it terrifies me." I could feel the tension building between us, an invisible thread pulling tighter with every heartbeat. I reached out, brushing a strand of damp hair from his forehead. His eyes softened in response, and for a moment, the world outside my apartment ceased to exist. Then came the first warning. A sharp knock at the door jolted us apart. My heart lurched. Who could it be? "Stay here," Logan whispered. He opened the door just enough to peer outside, and I caught a glimpse of two men in dark suits, unfamiliar faces, exuding authority and danger. "Logan Pierce," one asked, voice clipped and official. "We need to speak with you." My stomach dropped. This was exactly what everyone warned me about. Logan's jaw tightened, but he nodded calmly. "Ava," he said softly, "stay inside." I wanted to argue, to follow him, but the look in his eyes stopped me. He could handle whatever this was. I wasn't ready for that world. He stepped outside, and the confrontation began. I could hear voices raised, tense clipped, then silence. Then his voice again, firm but calm. "Enough. Leave." I pressed my hands to my mouth as he returned, brushing past me like nothing had happened. But I saw it, the tension in his shoulders, the strain in his eyes. The billionaire everyone feared had a world I couldn't survive in. And yet he came back to me. Over the following week, Logan became a part of my life in ways I hadn't anticipated. He'd appear at odd times, not just to protect me from the media or business threats, but simply to be near me. We went to secret rooftop gardens where the city lights stretched endlessly beneath us. We shared late-night walks through quiet streets, hands brushing, laughter spilling over in moments that felt stolen from time itself. But I was always aware of the warning signs. The way cameras seemed to follow him, the whispers that reached my ears about his dangerous deals, the men who occasionally lingered too long outside my apartment. And Logan? He noticed my fear. "Don't let them control you," he said one night, his hand holding mine tightly as we leaned against the railing of a rooftop garden. "I can't promise the world will stop, but I can promise I won't let them hurt you." I looked up at him, the city lights reflecting in his stormy eyes. "You're everything everyone warned me about," I whispered. "And yet?" he asked, lifting my chin gently. "And yet, I can't stay away." Then came the twist I never expected. One morning, I arrived at the cafe to find an envelope slipped under my door. Inside was a photo of me with Logan, not taken in public, not staged, but intimate. Close enough to see the small smirk on his lips as I laughed at something only he could see. And at the bottom, a message in precise handwriting. "Stay away, or this becomes everyone's business." I froze, heart pounding. Someone knew. Someone was watching. Before I could react, Logan appeared at the door, calm as ever, but I saw the tension in his posture. "They're onto us," he said, eyes scanning the street. "And I can't let anyone hurt you, Ava. That's why I have to tell you." I waited, breath held, for what I feared he would say. "You can't be around me publicly anymore. Not until I figure this out." "I'm sorry." I felt my chest tighten. The thought of him leaving, even temporarily, made my stomach twist. "Logan, I don't care about the danger," I whispered. "I care about you. And if that means being with you, even when the world hates it, I'm staying." He looked at me then, the storm behind his eyes breaking into something tender. "You're brave," he said softly, "and reckless. But I think I love you more for it." And just like that, the world outside my apartment faded again. For a moment, there was just us. Two people daring to love in a world determined to tear us apart. The next morning, I woke to the hum of the city and a pounding headache. My phone buzzed incessantly, texts, missed calls, and notifications flashing from every news app imaginable. Ava Thompson spotted with Logan Pierce, billionaire in hot seat. Secret girlfriend? Logan Pierce caught an intimate moment. Who is Ava? The woman billionaire Pierce can't resist. I groaned. My private life had evaporated overnight. Every sip of coffee, every quiet thought had been invaded, and I hadn't even touched social media yet. The knock on my door came like a warning. I opened it to see Logan standing there, a dark hoodie covering his otherwise immaculate suit, gray eyes stormy and unreadable. "You saw," he said simply. "I did," I whispered, closing the door behind him. "Logan, why didn't you warn me?" "I did," he said softly. "I told you to stay away." "I thought you meant physically, not the whole world stalking me." He sighed and ran a hand through his wet hair. "Ava, I can't control them. The press, the rivals, the haters, they'll find you. They'll try to hurt you. He trailed off, voice catching. "I just want you safe." I stepped closer, lifting a hand to touch his face. "And yet you keep showing up. You won't leave me alone." His lips twitched, half a smile, half a grimace. "Because I can't. Not when you've become part of my world, part of me." I felt my chest tighten, a mix of fear and longing. Logan Pierce, the man everyone feared, loved me, and I loved him. And yet, nothing was simple. Later that day, we met at a private rooftop garden, one of the few places in New York where we could breathe without cameras. The city stretched below us, glittering lights like fireflies in the night. "You know this can't last long, right?" I asked, voice trembling slightly. "Nothing worth having ever does," he replied, leaning closer. "But I'll fight for it. I'll fight for you." I wanted to believe him, but the text from earlier lingered in my mind. "Stay away, or this becomes everyone's business." Before I could say anything more, Logan's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, jaw tightening. "It's an investor," he muttered. "But this is serious." I frowned. "What is it?" He shook his head. "I can't tell you everything, not yet. Just trust me." The words both comforted and terrified me. Trust him. But trust meant risk. And loving Logan Pierce had already proven dangerous. That evening, as we walked through a quiet park, the first real kiss happened. Not a soft brush of lips, but a deep, consuming kiss that left me breathless. His hands tangled in my hair, his lips demanding yet gentle, and my body betrayed me, leaning into him. "I shouldn't," I gasped against his mouth. "Shouldn't what?" he murmured. "Feel this, want this," I admitted. "You can't help it," he whispered, eyes darkening. "And neither can I." The kiss ended, leaving a heat that lingered long after our lips parted. For the first time, I felt alive in a way I never had. but the world outside had already started to close in. A week later, I arrived at the cafe to find a reporter waiting outside. Not subtle, not discreet. A camera shoved in my face. Ava Thompson, Logan Pierce's secret girlfriend? Any comment? My heart raced. I turned to leave, but Logan was already there, walking up calmly, shielding me with his broad shoulders. "Move along," he said firmly, voice low but commanding. The reporter hesitated. I said move along. They backed off reluctantly, but I could see the tension in his body. My billionaire, the man who controlled empires, was protecting me like a knight guarding a treasure. And in that moment, I realized something terrifying. I had never truly known danger until I had met him. That night, we met in a dimly lit lounge, away from cameras and gossip. The city outside was alive, oblivious to our secret world. "I don't want to hide," I said finally, frustration bubbling. "I don't want to sneak around like this." Logan's gray eyes softened. "I know. But my world, it doesn't allow normal. Not yet. You deserve normal, Ava." And he stopped, swallowing hard. "I can't give you that fully. Not yet." "I don't want normal," I said firmly. "I want you. Every messy, dangerous, impossible part of you." He stared at me, awe and disbelief flickering across his face. Slowly, he reached for my hand. "Then we do this," he said. "Together. Even if the world hates it." And that was the pact we made. Two hearts defying the world, clinging to each other in a city that wanted to tear us apart. But nothing stays simple. 2 days later, a scandal hit the media. Photos of Logan and me leaked, staged or not, it didn't matter. The world reacted instantly. Headlines screamed betrayal, curiosity, judgment. Emails and messages flooded my phone. Friends were worried. Strangers were cruel. Logan didn't flinch. Not in front of me. Not in front of anyone. "I told you," he said quietly, standing by my apartment window, city lights reflecting off his face. "This is my life. And you're part of it now. But I promise I'll protect you. Always." I wanted to believe him, to throw myself into his arms, but a shadow of fear lingered. Loving him wasn't just romance. It was stepping into a world I wasn't prepared for. And yet, I couldn't walk away. The world didn't wait. By the next morning, my apartment was crawling with news alerts, notifications, and whispers that felt like daggers. Everywhere I went, I felt eyes on me, some curious, some judging, some dangerous. Logan's enemies were clever. The media was relentless. And somehow, every rumor somehow tied back to me. I sat at my kitchen table, hands wrapped around a lukewarm cup of coffee, trying to steady my racing heart. And then I heard the softest sound, the click of the door unlocking. "Morning," Logan said, stepping in like he owned not just my apartment, but my life. His gray eyes were intense, storm clouds threatening to burst. "You shouldn't be here," I said automatically, though my heart betrayed me. "I told you before," he murmured, voice low. "I don't let anyone hurt you." I looked at him, remembering the way he had shielded me from the cafe reporters, from the men in suits, from the gossiping city. But this wasn't something he could control. Not entirely. He took my hands in his, firm and steady. "Ava, I know it's overwhelming, but you can't run from this. Not from me. Not from us." I shook my head, feeling the weight of his world pressing down. "Logan, I don't know if I'm ready for all this. Your life, it's dangerous." "I'm not you. I can't just." He silenced me with a kiss. Not a quick brush, but a full, consuming kiss that left me breathless, shaking, wanting. His hands tangled in my hair, and for a moment, the chaos outside didn't exist. Only us. Pulling back slightly, he rested his forehead against mine. "You're stronger than you think. And I can't do this without you." My breath hitched. The words he said weren't just words. They were a promise, a warning, and a plea all at once. That night, Logan insisted we leave the city for a private escape. Somewhere no one knew us. Somewhere the world couldn't touch us. The plane ride was tense but intimate. He didn't talk much, only held my hand, occasionally brushing his fingers against mine in those subtle touches that made my chest flutter uncontrollably. When we landed, we were in a secluded villa overlooking the ocean. The sun was setting, painting the sky with fiery oranges and purples. Logan stood beside me, silent for a moment, watching the horizon. "Beautiful," I whispered. He turned to me, eyes soft. "Not as beautiful as you." I felt my cheeks burn, and for a moment, I almost forgot the chaos waiting back in New York. Almost. We spent the evening talking, laughing, and sharing things we hadn't said before, secrets, regrets, dreams. The walls around Logan, the ones built from betrayal and fear, started crumbling. And I felt like I was the only one holding the key. But danger has a way of finding you. The next morning, as I stepped out to the balcony, I noticed a figure moving in the distance, someone familiar, yet out of place. My heart stopped. "Logan," I whispered. He stepped up beside me, following my gaze. His expression hardened instantly. "Stay inside," he said quietly. "I'll handle this." Before I could protest, he disappeared toward the intruder. My heart hammered. This was the first time I truly felt how real his world could be and how helpless I was in it. Minutes felt like hours. Then he returned, calm but tense. "They won't try again," he said. "At least not now." I swallowed hard. "I don't want you to risk yourself for me." He cupped my face, thumb brushing my cheek. "I'd risk anything for you. Don't forget that." And in that moment, I realized I didn't just love him. I needed him. Not just for protection, not just for comfort, but because my heart refused to exist without him. Over the next few days, our romance deepened in ways I hadn't anticipated. Late-night swims in the villa's pool, where he held me close, whispering words that made my pulse race. Candlelit dinners, where our fingers intertwined across the table, silently declaring our claim on each other. And nights spent wrapped in each other's arms, the world far away, but never forgotten. Yet, tension simmered beneath every kiss, every laugh, every touch. One evening, as we sat on the balcony, Logan's phone buzzed. His expression darkened as he read the message. I could feel the storm coming. "They've found out where we are," he said quietly. "And they're not happy." My stomach twisted. "Who?" He looked at me, gray eyes stormy. "A rival. Someone who wants everything I have and will do anything to take it, including you." I felt fear coil in my chest, but also an undeniable surge of something else. Determination. "Then we fight," I said, surprising even myself. He looked at me, a small smile tugging at his lips. "You're reckless. Brave. Insane. But I love that about you." And just like that, we were thrown into the eye of the storm, together. Two hearts defying a world that wanted to tear us apart. The villa had felt like a safe haven, until it wasn't. Late that night, a loud crash jolted me awake. My heart raced. Logan was already on his feet, his body moving with the precision of someone trained for danger. I barely had time to register fear before he had me pulled close, shielding me instinctively. "Stay behind me," he commanded, voice low but firm. His gray eyes were stormy, dangerous, protective. I wanted to argue, wanted to fight beside him, but the look in his eyes stopped me. Logan Pierce, the man everyone feared, was serious. And for once, I understood just how real the danger was. A shadow moved near the villa's edge. Logan's hand found mine, squeezing tightly. "We're not alone," he whispered. Minutes stretched like hours. Then the intruder made a move, a figure darting toward us, a weapon glinting in the moonlight. Logan reacted instantly, pulling me behind him, positioning himself between me and the threat. Time seemed to slow. His arms, his presence, his courage, it all became a shield I didn't deserve. And yet, I clung to it, to him, to the reality that I couldn't imagine life without him. The intruder fled as quickly as he appeared, and Logan's body relaxed slightly, but the tension didn't leave his eyes. "You okay?" he asked, voice softer now, but laced with concern. I nodded, trembling.
I'm fine."
He pulled me into his chest, holding me like I was the most fragile thing in the world. "I can't lose you, Ava. Not to them. Not to anything." I buried my face in his chest, heart pounding, and whispered, "I'm not going anywhere." The next morning, we were forced to confront the reality of Logan's world. News outlets had caught wind of the intrusion. Headlines screamed, "Billionaire targeted, girlfriend at risk," and who is Ava Thompson? Pierce's mystery woman. I could feel my pulse racing as I scrolled through the feeds. Our privacy, our lives, had evaporated overnight. "I can handle them," Logan said, reading over my shoulder. "But I can't protect you if you keep putting yourself in danger." I looked at him, fear and defiance swirling inside me. "I'm not a child, Logan. I can handle more than you think." He sighed, exasperated but unwilling to argue further. "I just love you too much to lose you." And there it was, again, the vulnerability behind the billionaire's facade. The man the world feared had a heart that beat fiercely for me. Days passed, tension ever present. We tried to steal moments of peace, long walks in hidden gardens, candlelit dinners on secluded terraces, nights wrapped in each other's arms, whispering secrets and promises. But the world never slept. One evening, as we shared a quiet dinner, Logan's phone buzzed incessantly. He glanced at the message, jaw tightening. "It's serious," he muttered. Before I could ask, he explained. One of his rivals was planning something drastic, something that could destroy not just him, but everyone close to him. And, by extension, me. "You have to leave," he said quietly, a pained edge in his voice. "For your safety." I shook my head. "I'm not leaving you, Logan. I love you. That means I'm in this with you, no matter what." He stared at me, gray eyes heavy with emotion, conflicted.
"You don't understand.
"This isn't just business. This is war.
And
I don't want you caught in the crossfire." "I'm not afraid," I said firmly. "I'm afraid of losing you if I leave." He exhaled sharply, frustration and longing mingling. "You're reckless.
brave."
Insane. But I love that about you." And just like that, we crossed a line. No more hiding, no more running from emotions. The night escalated into one of passion and confession. In the villa, under soft lamplight, Logan pulled me close. His lips found mine with an intensity that left me gasping. Every touch, every kiss, every whispered word declared a claim, a promise, a desperate refusal to let go. "I can't live without you," he whispered between kisses, hands roaming with possessive tenderness. "You're mine, Ava. Completely." I clung to him, heart racing, body trembling. "And I'm yours," I admitted, voice trembling. "Always." The storm outside mirrored the storm within us, the tension, the desire, the fear, and the love. For once, Nothing else existed. Not the media, not the enemies, not the city that wanted to pull us apart. Only us. But the danger was far from over. The next morning, a new threat emerged. Someone who knew my past, someone who could exploit my vulnerabilities. I realized with a sinking heart that being with Logan meant stepping fully into his world, a world I wasn't sure I could survive in. And yet, I wouldn't have it any other way. Because Logan Pierce, the man everyone warned me about, was no longer just the billionaire. He was my protector, my confidant, my love, my world. And I was ready to fight for him. The storm had passed, or so I thought. Logan and I were perched on the rooftop of the villa, the ocean stretching endlessly beneath the moonlight. Waves crashed against the cliffs below, a rhythm that matched the racing of my heart. "I can't believe we made it through," I whispered, leaning against him. He wrapped his arm around me, pulling me close. "We did," he said softly.
Together.
I tilted my head, looking up at his stormy gray eyes. "Even with all the chaos, all the danger, you still chose me." He smiled, that rare, vulnerable smile that no one else ever got to see. "Always," he said. "You were worth every risk." For the first time in weeks, I allowed myself to breathe, to feel safe in his arms. The world beyond the villa, the gossip, the enemies, the media, faded into irrelevance. All that mattered was us. The next morning, Logan surprised me with a private flight back to New York. He had a plan. "We're going public," he said simply as we soared above the clouds. "No hiding. No running. No pretending. The world will know. And if they don't like it, it doesn't matter." My heart raced. "Are you sure?" He nodded, eyes firm. "I'm sure. I've spent too long letting fear dictate my life. Not anymore. And I won't let fear dictate ours." We returned to the city hand in hand, walking into the world together. Cameras flashed, but this time, I wasn't terrified. This time, Logan's presence beside me was all the protection I needed. That evening, we held a press conference, Logan Pierce and Ava Thompson together. His voice was steady, confident, and unwavering. "This is Ava Thompson," he began. "She's been by my side, through everything. And I'm proud to have her in my life, publicly and privately. We're in this together, and no one can change that." I stood beside him, heart pounding, overwhelmed by the courage I felt. The reporters shouted questions, flashes of light bombarded us, but I didn't flinch. Logan's hand found mine, squeezing reassuringly. "I'm not afraid anymore," I whispered. He leaned close, pressing his lips to my temple. "Neither am I." Over the following weeks, our lives settled into a rhythm we chose, not one dictated by the world, but by us. Private dinners in hidden gardens, rooftop strolls beneath starlit skies, and moments of laughter that reminded me that even in the billionaire world, life could be tender, joyful, and ours. Logan's world was still dangerous. Rivals still lurked. The media still watched. But with him, with us, I felt invincible. One night, as we sat on our favorite rooftop, the city lights sparkling like fireflies beneath us, Logan pulled a small velvet box from his pocket. "Ava Thompson," he began, voice trembling slightly, gray eyes stormy with emotion. "You've changed my life. You've made me better, braver, more human than I ever thought possible. Will you marry me?" Tears blurred my vision. My heart swelled with a happiness I had never imagined. "Yes," I whispered, barely able to contain my joy. "Yes, Logan. 1,000 times yes." He slipped the ring onto my finger, and in that moment, the world disappeared. The chaos, the danger, the fear, it didn't matter. All that mattered was love. We kissed under the moonlight, a kiss that sealed our promise to each other. Two hearts, defying the world, thriving in the storm, and finally, finding peace in one another. For Logan Pierce, the billionaire everyone warned me about, and for me, the girl who had dared to fall, love wasn't just a risk. It was everything. And sometimes, the greatest risks bring the greatest rewards.